Very good morning, students. In the previous session, we have seen one of the type of corrosion or one of the theory of corrosion. That was the dry theory of corrosion. So what is meant by the dry theory of corrosion? Dry theory of corrosion is nothing but the corrosion taking place in the absence of moisture. Then if the corrosion is taking place in the absence of moisture, what is reacting with the metal? Means metal is reacting with what in the environment? Yes. So metal is reacting with the chemicals in the environment in the dry theory of corrosion. So dry theory of corrosion is also called as the chemical corrosion. So in the chemical corrosion, we have seen the three types of corrosion. One is oxidation corrosion. Oxidation corrosion is nothing but corrosion is taking place in the presence of the oxygen. And the second type of corrosion is corrosion by other gases. And the third type is the liquid metallic corrosion. So that we have seen in the previous class. But I explained you in oxidation corrosion or in the corrosion by other gases that maybe the metal is a protective or the non-protective, that is depending on the oxide layer on the surface of the metal. Yes. So based on that, based on the protectivity or non-protectivity of the metal, we are having one of the rule. That rule is called the Pilling-Bedwetz rule. So what is the name of the rule? The name of the rule is the Pilling-Bedwetz rule. So to express the content or extent of protection given by the corrosion layer to the underlying metal, Pilling-Bedwetz rule was postulated. So whether the corrosion is extending or not, to express it, we are having the Pilling-Bedwetz rule. So it is expressed in terms of specific volume ratio. So Pilling-Bedwetz rule is defined based on the specific volume ratio. What is meant by the specific volume ratio? This ratio is nothing but the volume of metal oxide layer and the volume of parent metal. Parent metal is nothing but whatever the metal is exposing to the environment, that is called the parent metal or the base metal. So what is the specific volume ratio? Ratio is defined as the volume of metal oxide layer divided by the volume of the metal. So see here, if the metal oxide layer volume is more than the metal volume, just assume this is metal and this is also metal oxide layer. See here, metal oxide layer volume is more than the metal. If the oxide layer volume is more than the metal, metal will be protected because this layer is covered on the entire surface of the metal. But if the oxide layer volume is less than the metal, let us assume this is the metal and this is the oxide layer. See here, the metal volume is more than the oxide layer volume. If the oxide layer volume is less, what is happening here? The remaining metal is exposing to the environment. That means the remaining metal is exposing to the dust particles and undergo corrosion. So what is happening here? If the metal oxide layer volume is more, metal is protective. If the metal oxide layer volume is less than the metal, metal will be non-protective. So that we are going to define by using Pilling-Bedwetz rule by using specific volume ratio. So what is specific volume ratio? It is the ratio of metal oxide layer volume and the metal. Smaller the specific volume ratio. When it will be small, when it will be small, when it will be big, it will be small. That means when the parent volume metal, when the metal volume is more, then specific volume will be less. If the specific volume, if the parent metal volume is more, what is happening here? Compared to metal volume, if the oxide layer volume is less, metal will be non-protective. That we are here explaining here. Smaller the specific volume ratio, greater is the oxidation corrosion. That means corrosion will be more if the specific volume ratio is less. Example, the specific volume ratio of tungsten, chromium and nickel are 3.6, 2 and 1.6 respectively. So these are very, very less here. So consequently, the rate of corrosion is least in tungsten because the tungsten is having the more specific volume ratio. So it is having the lesser. The specific volume ratio is more. If it is more, the corrosion will be lesser. If it is more, corrosion will be more. So if the volume of the corrosion film formed is more than the underlying metal, it is strongly adherent, non-porous and does not allow the penetration of corrosive gases. So no further corrosion. If the volume of the corrosion film is more, if the volume of the corrosion film formed is less, what is happening here? There is a corrosion further. There is a further corrosion. So simply you can define here, if the specific volume ratio is more, corrosion is protective. If the specific volume ratio is less, corrosion is non-protective. That is the filling buttress rule. So it is very, very important for the short arc separation. And the next one is the wet corrosion or the electrochemical corrosion. In the previous class, we have seen the dry theory of corrosion, and now we are going to see the wet theory of corrosion. It is also very, very important question in the external examination. So just please focus on the wet theory of corrosion and the dry theory of corrosion also. So by meaning, you can understand what is meant by the wet theory of corrosion. What is wet theory of corrosion? Wet theory of corrosion is nothing but corrosion of the metal in the presence of moisture. That means whatever the moisture is there in the environment, it is acting as the electrolyte. I explained you what is meant by the electrolyte in the electrochemistry. Yes, so the moisture is acting as the electrolyte, and that electrolyte is reacting with our metal. Yes, but when the electrolyte is reacting with our metal, here some of the portion only reacting with the moisture, or that means some of the portion only reacting with the electrolyte, and the remaining portion is not reacting with the electrolyte. That means on the same metal, you can observe the two different portions. Some of the part is exposing to the moisture and the remaining part is not exposing to the moisture. So based on that, that means you can observe the two different kind of metals on the same metallic surface. When the two different metals are exposing to the electrolyte, we can use the word galvanic. Galvanic is nothing but electrochemical. So the wet corrosion is also called as the electrochemical corrosion. So just let us look into this. The direct chemical action of environment on the surface of the metal in the presence of conducting liquid with the formation of electrochemical cell. So how the electrochemical cell is forming? We are having two different electrodes and electrolyte. So what are the two different electrodes here? On the same metal, you can observe the two different portions of the metal. So that is two different metals. And here electrolyte is of moisture. That is conducting liquid. So we are getting the electrochemical cell. So it is a common type of corrosion which occurs usually in aqueous corrosive area. So generally, whatever the corrosion is observing in the nature, that is the electrochemical corrosion. Occurs when metal comes in contact with a conducting liquid. So what is the conducting liquid here? Conducting liquid is nothing but the moisture in the envelope. So formation of galvanic cell on the surface of metal generating anodic and the cathodic. I explained you now. On the same metallic surface, you can observe the two different kind of metals here. So here the galvanic cell is forming. The name is a galvanic. So galvanic cell is forming on the surface of the metal. So when the galvanic cell is forming on the same metal, you can observe anodic portion and the cathodic portion. That means only the anodic portion undergo corrosion, cathodic portion is not undergo corrosion. That's what oxidation and reduction. We know oxidation is nothing but corrosion here. So anodic metal is undergo corrosion here and cathodic metal is not undergo corrosion. So at anode, that means whatever the anodic portion is there on the metal, undergo oxidation and liberating electrons. So electrons at anode are transported to the cathodic area. So whatever the electrons are releasing, those electrons are transferred to the cathode. So where H plus are oxygen and water consumes the electron, generating non-metallic ions like OH minus or oxides. So this is no need. This you can understand in the mechanism. So now let us see the mechanism. Here, electrochemical corrosion involves flow of electrons between anode and the cathode because it is acting as a galvanic cell. In the galvanic cell, what is happening here? Electrons will be transferring from anode to cathode. So here, in electrochemical corrosion, that means in the wet theory of corrosion, flow of electrons between anode and the cathode. So the anodic reaction involves dissolution of metal liberating free electrons. So whatever the anodic portion is there, at that anodic portion, oxidation takes place. What is mean by the oxidation? Loss of electrons. Electrons will be losing. So here it will be liberating free electrons. So whatever the electrons are releasing at anode, these electrons are transferred to the cathode. So the cathodic reaction, see here, this is the general kind of oxidation reaction here. The metal is liberating n number of electrons to produce the ion. This is the oxidation reaction. So the cathode reaction consumes electrons. What is the nature of cathode? It is gaining the electron. Gaining is nothing but consuming. So cathode is consuming electron with either evolution of hydrogen or absorption of oxygen. So how the cathodic reaction is taking place here? Either it is consuming absorption of oxygen or it is releasing hydrogen. So there are two kinds of reactions at the cathode. Either hydrogen is releasing or oxygen is absorbing. That I explained here. But you cannot understand here. That's what I explained here. So at cathode, either the hydrogen is absorbing or hydrogen is releasing or oxygen is absorbing at cathode. So based on that, based on the cathodic reaction, we are having two types of corrosions in the wet corrosion. So wet corrosion is taking place in the two ways based on the cathodic reaction. One is evolution of hydrogen and another one is the absorption of oxygen. In one case, hydrogen is releasing and in another case, oxygen is absorbing. So based on that, we are having two ways of wet theory of corrosion. So let us see one by one. One is evolution of hydrogen. What is meant by the evolution of hydrogen? Releasing hydrogen. Hydrogen is releasing here. That is evolution of hydrogen. So what is evolution of hydrogen? Releasing hydrogen here. But when hydrogen is releasing here, hydrogen generally releasing in the presence of acidic medium. Acid is nothing but which contains H plus. So whenever the metal is reacting with H plus, it is having the capacity to release the hydrogen. So always hydrogen is evoluting in the presence of acidic. So this is in the presence of acid. See here, this is the metal. This is the metal here. And the entire metal is having acid. See here, it is having large anodic part and the small cathodic part. So what is the cathode here? Cathode is the acid and anode is the iron here. So whatever the iron is exposing to the acid, here acid will be acting as a cathode and anode will be iron. So rusting of iron metal in acidic environment takes place in the following way. At anode, what happens at anode? Electrons will be released. So here, what is anode here? Iron is acting as anode. The entire metal is acting as the anode. And whatever the electrolyte we are pouring on that, what is the electrolyte here? Acid is the electrolyte. So acid will be acting as a cathode. So iron will be participating at anode and acid will be participating at cathode. So here, the iron is losing 2 electrons to produce Fe+. This is oxidation reaction. But whatever the electrons are released at anode, these electrons are transferred to the cathode. What is the cathode here? Acid is a cathode. So that acid is gaining the electrons to release the hydrogen. So here, this acid is gaining the 2 electrons to produce hydrogen. So by adding these two reactions, we will get the overall reaction. Let us add these two reactions. When you add the two reactions, what is there a common thing in the LHS and RHS here? 2 electrons gets cancelled with each other. So let us add the reactants Fe plus 2H plus, giving rise to Fe plus 2 plus hydrogen. This is the overall reaction in the acidic medium or in the evolution of hydrogen. So this type of corrosion causes displacement of hydrogen ions from the acidic solution by metal ions. So in hydrogen evolution type corrosion, the anodic areas are large and cathodic areas are small. That means iron part is more and acid part is less in the evolution of hydrogen. So now let us see the next type in the wet theory of corrosion, that is absorption of oxygen. This type of corrosion is taking place in the basic or the neutral medium in the presence of oxygen. When the hydrogen is evaluating, only in the presence of acid. But in the presence of base or in the neutral medium, what is happening here? Oxygen is absorbing from the environment in the presence of moisture. For example, rustling of iron in neutral or basic aqueous solution of electrolyte in the presence of atmospheric oxygen. So usually the surface of iron is coated with a thin film of iron oxide, because when the iron rod is continuously exposed into the environment, what is happening here? Whatever the moisture, whatever the water particles, water droplets are present, those droplets are covered with the entire surface of the iron. So here, the base or neutral medium is having the capacity to spread on the entire surface. Yes. So if the film develops cracks, if the metal surface is having any cracks or pores, anodic areas are created on the surface. So usually when the metal is very plain surface or very smooth surface, there is no cracks or any pores, so there is no anodic particle. But when the metal is having any cracks or the pores, the crack portion is acting as the anode, because whatever the water droplets are there, those are long time in the cavity. That means in the cracks. So because of that reason, that part will be acting as the anode, and the remaining part, which is spreaded by the moisture or the base, is acting as a cathode. So it shows that anodic areas are small because only crack portions are acting as the anode, and remaining portions are cathode. So anode is less, cathode is more in this. So same in the previous, anode will be same, anodic reaction is same, but only cathode is different, because cathode is the water which is the neutral absorbing oxygen in the environment. So water is absorbing oxygen in the environment to produce 2 OH minus and 2 electrons. By adding, 2 electrons should be here. I have given the wrong reaction here. The 2 electrons must be at the reactants here. So here 2 electrons gets cancelled. By adding these two, we will get the overall reaction. So this will be the overall reaction. Finally, we are getting the ferrous hydroxide. This ferrous hydroxide is unstable in the environment, because to get stability, again the further reactions will be taking place. So ferrous hydroxide, if enough oxygen is present, ferrous hydroxide is easily oxidized to ferric hydroxide. So whatever the ferrous hydroxide is there, that will be reacting with the oxygen in the environment and converts to ferric hydroxide. That ferric hydroxide further converts to the rust formation. So like that, these reactions are taking place in the absorption of oxygen. So this is about, this is the formula of rust, Fe2O33H2O. This is about the wet theory of corrosion. So see here, this is the diagram for the absorption of oxygen. And in this, you can observe the large portion of cathode. Cathode is more, and small portion of anode. And this is about wet theory of corrosion. It is very, very, very important question in the external examination. And remaining, we will see in the next class. Thank you so much.